All right, in the previous video we went over on how to fasten mate, and I only did the upper half of this assembly. Now I'm going to do the lower half with what we call a planar mate. Now this is a little bit more tedious, meaning you're going to do a little bit more steps here and there, but the fact of the matter is it can be done either way. The one thing I like about the planar mate is it gives us a little bit more control over something that may not be as symmetrical. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my single inch. Okay, so my 1 inch strip, it again shows that little degrees of freedom. And we're going to do a planar mate. Okay, so the planar mate is you're going to choose planes. I'm going to stay away from this little icon here, and I'm going to just choose the plane. The plane is just simply the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this. Make sure it registers. Okay, so here's the register. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose the bottom of this. Again, the reason why I can choose the bottom of it, because it's symmetrical, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You'll notice now that it again wants to flush. It wants to put those two pieces exactly in alignment with one another, thus the blue piece being inside the red piece. We don't want that. Okay, we do not want that, so hit the flip. Okay, and once I have my piece the way I want it, kind of, for now, I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark. So basically what I did is this will still be able to move. Okay, so I can still move it, but it is, believe it or not, it is having that deal. So if I try to move it up or down, you'll notice it will not move, but I can move it side to side, front to back. But those two surfaces are mated together, which is something that we want. Okay, so now the second, and you're going to have, if you use the planar method, you're going to have 3 mates to each extra piece. So every piece that you add, you're going to have 3 mates. So how I'm going to do that? Planar mate. And now I want to choose the faces of these. I want to align so it cannot go front to back. So I'm going to click on the face and click on the face. Now it goes inside. I'm not incredibly enthused about it, but this part in this particular piece, it achieves what we want. We want these two faces, okay, to be in alignment, and that's what it's showing you. If you don't, if you are unable to see it, you can flip it, and it'll show you that those two faces are mated now. Or I'm sorry, they're not mated. They're showing you a preview of it. But I don't want those surfaces to be opposed. I want them to be in alignment. So I flip it back, and all that good stuff. Once I do that and I say, yep, I want those two faces to do that, once you hit the check mark, it goes right back down. So now that I've removed 2 pieces of degrees of freedom, I've got one more, okay? And you'll see that because I can only move this side to side. I cannot move it top to bottom. I can't move it front to back. I can only move it side to side. All right, so the last planar mate that we're going to do is we want to flush this surface of this end with this surface of this end. And so how we do that is through another planar mate. Again, I'm going to avoid these little doodads that pop up. I'm going to try to just do the surface, make sure it registers, make sure it glows gold. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, do that surface. And again, it pops inside of it. Not an entirely enthusiastic fan of that. If you want to see where those two surfaces meet, I'm just using the arrow to flip. Okay, but I want those two surfaces in alignment. That's called flush. Once I check mark, you'll notice a couple things happen here. All right, number one is I can't move this anymore. I'm clicking and moving, clicking and moving, clicking and moving, clicking and moving. And that second 1-inch strip that I just put in no longer has those arrows. Again, 3 planar mates to each one. All right. So I'm going to do the same exact thing with the bottom piece. I'm going to go through it, do a little less talking here. So again, planar mate, choose a surface, make sure it registers. Sometimes it can be laggy. Flip it, check mark, planar mate, faces, in alignment, flush, check mark, planar mate. You'll notice that this little has degrees of freedom is going to disappear. Watch. It's going to give you a preview. Boom. Now it's gone. Okay, so that is one way or two different ways how to do mates to do that back end. And then in the last video, I'm going to show you um, how to do the handle supports. So if you'll notice, no matter what piece, because I fixed my first piece, I have it's not going to move. It's in alignment. We are all good. And that is another reason why I color code these. You can go back in if you wanted to, and you could go ahead and change this back to nothing, edit appearance. Okay. I think it's this one. Yep. That's the deal that they use. And you can change it to nothing. Let's go edit appearance. Okay. Back to nothing. And then when you go to your assembly, it's back to plain Jane. So totally up to you how you want it to look, but that's how you do it. I'll see you in the next video.